सर स्टार्ट करो।
हाँ स्टार्ट करो। good evening to all learners.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So that we proceed to next block, social legislation. Social legislation on scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Social legislation on scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Why there is a discrepancy or discrimination in our country since independence. भारत आम देश स्वाधीनता हवा परठारु ए पर्यंत there are different discrimination prevails. So far today, what are the reasons? Because the good administration is only undertaken by our leaders or by our national leaders only. That ultimately depends on our casting of votes. Ame jo anusare we are selecting and electing, they are provides the administration to us. As the Constitution of India directive principle of state policy states, state policy India is a welfare country. We know part IV of the Indian Constitution. So far ये पर्यंत सुधा आम देश रे that discrepancy prevails socially, economically, politically, and casteism, every respect, that there is discrimination. So what is the leader? गोटे देशर गोटे नेता बा गोटे लीडर किभली हवा दरकार? We can avoid or ignore such type of discrepancy from our country. That means a leader always leads to the people. The leader always leads to the people. Otherwise, he will become a ladder. Do you know about the ladder? सीढ़ी जोटा कहते आमे जहाँ पर चढ़ी जाऊ. So leader जति जने न होई परिबो, automatically will converted into ladder. So ladder means there is no respect. So leader possesses some sort of qualities, efficiency, knowledge, and is a risk taker for the social behavior. A leader having possessed high enthusiastic spirit, and the leader possesses some sort of subordinates behind him. Leader पछरे बहु प्रकार subordinate माने थांती. A leader touches the heart of the people. So that's why we treat him as a leader. A leader always touches the hearts of the people. गोटे लीडर कौन करि थाए? लोक मानकर समाजर भलो मंद सब को से चिंता करि थाए. जेते बेले लोक मानकर हृदय स्पर्शी हे परिबो, all the subordinates, all the people will gladly accept him and respect him. He is a respectable leader, as we can cite like our late great leader of our nations, Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in Odisha, like Gopabandhu Das. So like the leader, they actually sacrifices and dedicatedly sacrifices for the nations, for the country, for which there are large number of subordinates behind him and respect him for their enthusiastic spirit and efficiency, for their skill, ability, dedication, sacrifice for the nation. So से माने प्रकृत रे वास्तव रे लीडर बोली आमे तांको कहिबा, जो माने देश पई, जाति पई, समाज पई जीवन को उत्सर्ग करि दैछन्ति. So यदि सेही भली लीडर माने ए पर्यंत थांते ताले देश ए पर्यंत ए भली माने बाछ विचार न थांता. सोशियली, एजुकेशनली, इकोनॉमिकली, पॉलिटिकली, इन एवरी रेस्पेक्ट. सो आमे वर्तमान मध्य क्रिएट करि परिबा सच टाइप ऑफ a great leader that depends on our choice of voting or casting of voting. Ultimately that depends on the citizens. नागरिक माने आमे डायरेक्टली सिलेक्शन करूचंती थ्रू कास्टिंग ऑफ वोट्स. आमे जो टाइप रो लीडर नेता सिलेक्शन करिबा सेमाने हमकु सेही टाइप रो शासन प्रशासन जोगेई देबे देश काहे की बेकारी समस्या अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पॉवर्टी स्टारवेशन ए पर्यंत सुधा लागि रहिछि एते वर्ष सिंस 1947 योजना आरंभ होला 1951 रे प्रथम योजना एते योजना गला परे मध्य ए पर्यंत डायरेक्ट discrimination prevails in the society in every respect socially को educationally को politically को economically को जे कोनस क्षेत्र रे भारत रे हमें देखिबा because we know India is a rich country where poor people are living एटा को हमको समस्त को लर्नर्स माने मन रखिबा उचित इंडिया इज ए रिच कंट्री where poor people are living why काहे कि ए पर्यंत सुधा भारत एते धनी राष्ट्र होई कि गरीब लोक माने बसवास करूछंती because due to defective planning corruption etc काहे कि करप्शन होला काहे कि डिफेक्टिव प्लानिंग होला because due to us आंब मानक पई we are selecting electing such type of leader they provides administration to us आमे जहा कले हमगु सेया फल मिलला भारत रे कोन नाही हम देश रे फॉर एग्जांपल इन ओडिशा we have plenty of deposit of mineral resources forest resources like god's gift natural resources forest resources water resources and mineral resources and like human resources jette resources achi human resources the best resources god's gift resources madhyanta kuajibo human beings qualitative tenu kore हमको qualitative human resources देश रे सृष्टि करबा पय पड़िबो as for example of we can cite with the examples of advanced rich country like Australia, Japan, like United States of America and like United Kingdom, German, Japan, France jette desha dekho why the people of India are migrating to such countries because there is innovation, there is research, there is facility, they create the quality focus on the qualitative human resources but so far India is a rich country देखो हम ओडिशा रे बिहार झारखंड ओडिशा रे जो रीजन रे होराइजन रे प्रचुर गुणात्मक मिनरल डिपोजिट हेकि अछि but such type of large scale industry is absent but we can compare with the states like Punjab Haryana having no mineral resources किंतु highly developed states Punjab Haryana Gujarat से देश रे एते मिनरल रिसोर्सेस नै से राज्य मान करे they are importing from Jharkhand, Bihar, Odisha but there is high the such states prevailing highly industrialized जते मशीन टूल देखो सब प्रोडक्शन होउची जा होउची सब लेखा हेतिबो मेड इन फरीदाबाद so जते मशीन टूल देखो हेवी मशीन टूल हो बा छोटो छोटो मशीन टूल हो सब पंजाब हरियाणा सब प्रोडक्शन होउची घरे घरे in the small scale industries, cottage industries, etc. But in Odisha, Jharkhand, Bihar, why the country is poorer, why such states are belongs to poorer state due to defective planning, etc. We are selecting and electing such type of leaders. So scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and a backward class. आमे काहे कि एगुडी को सब गोष्ठी रे परिणत करूछंती because economically and socially they are backward there is discrimination social discrimination so far prevails we are only being the human race manav sambala manav samaj ame ta koiba so we can ignore the discrepancy so that's in this context that we go through the vivid analysis indicating to that social legislation on scheduled caste and scheduled tribes as we shall be dealing with legislation which have been passed for the protection of rights of unprivileged groups they are not belongs to the privileged group samane konosi subidha sujog pai na thandi particularly for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in India there is no doubt that the hierarchical caste system in India left out certain castes from economic and social progress That is the reason why even the framers of the Indian Constitution, as states through specific provision provides powers to the state to make special law to provide special benefits to unprivileged section of the society, specifically the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes. So that is why it is very essential to formulate and law and provide the facilities for unprivileged groups of the society. And here, constitutional mandate focusing towards the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people. Social legislation on scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. What are the constitutional mandate? The caste-based discrimination was at the peak in India when we got independence. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ସ୍ୱାଧୀନତା ପାଇଥିଲେ peak point because social custom and tradition superstition अंधविश्वास समाज संस्कृति ये सब को नेकरी peak period रे थिला ଆମେ तो ସ୍ୱାଧୀନता पाइथिले से समय रे छुआ अछुआ एवं उच्च नीच भेदभाव बहुल भाव रे आम देश रे लागि रहिथिला संविधान प्रणायन हला परे परे आम देश शासन नला बेले आमे सेगडा को उच्छेद करबा पई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भारत संविधान रे गडा सब आमे एक्ट सो परिणत कले. So the first step through law to curb this discrimination came through constitutional mandate to make the fundamental rights of equality meaningful to the lowest rung of the caste system, earlier called the Sudra untouchability, the goals of the nations set forth in preamble itself. So that is why preamble आमे एगुड़िक सबू प्रियम्बल आम प्रिफेस आमे सब गुड़ाक नोट करी गले तापर एलाबोरेशन हला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दे. So that is why Act 52 provides, the Constitutional Act 52 provides or states about no citizen shall on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them be subject to any disability, liability, restriction or condition with regard to access to shop, public restaurants, hotels and a place of public entertainment. कौन सी जगह को आर्टिकल 52 आर्टिकल 15 ब्रैकेट 2 आर्टिकल 15 2 स्टेट्स कौन सी लोक मानकू बा उच्च नीच भेदभाव छुआ छुआ आमे बारण करि परिबा नाही. जाति वर्ण निर्विशेष रे वर्ण धर्म एवं संप्रदाय निर्विशेष रे समस्तंकर समान अधिकार अछि. कोउठ के रेस्ट्रिक्शन का करा जाय परिबा नाही. The use of wells, tanks, bathing ghats, roads and public resorts maintained wholly or partly out of state funds and dedicated to the use of general public. ये समस्त सर्वसाधारण व्यवहार पाई व्यवहार परिबो कहा को सेठी रेस्ट्रिक्शन करा जाय परिबो नाही. सो प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ सिविल राइट्स एक्ट 1955 विभिन्न प्रकार एक्ट तमरे ब्लॉक रे अछि सेगडा टिके ध्यान दबो लर्नर्स. So that a person participating untouchability will be held guilty of a recognizable offense and punishment could mean in addition to penal sanction and cancellation or suspension of license in respect of a profession, trade, calling or employment. ये जो सेवारे बा वृत्ति रे थांतु ना काई कि जदी कास्टेजिज्म बा अनटचेबिलिटी अस्पृहा बा छुआ छुआ फीलिंग करिवो तार तार लाइसेंस हो तार जॉब हो बा एनी अदर फैक्ट रे ताको पनिशमेंट दिया जिवो. This bill was passed 1955. Protection of Civil Rights Bill was passed both by House of Parliament and received assent of the President on 8th May 1955. 1955 रे ताहा राष्ट्रपति को स्वीकृति लाभ कला परे आईन रे परिणत हे गला. To maintain protect the civil rights of the citizens. एवं यार फीचर थिला ई सिविल राइट रो इट इज सर्व्स टू आउटलॉ the disabilities to which Dalits are subjected to which may be in regard to enter a place of worship, admission in educational institution or hospital etc. समस्तंकर अधिकार अछि शिक्षा स्वास्थ्य एवं वर्शिप धर्म संस्था मानकर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मानकर समान अधिकार समस्तंकर अछि. So these are the civil rights. So scheduled caste and scheduled tribes prevention to Atrocities Act of 1989. Atrocity Act 1989 ने सरकार संविधान प्रणयन कले जदि उच्च नीच बा अस्पृश्य बोली आम क्या जदि ट्रेट करा जाए समाज रे कौन व्यक्ति को ताले ताकू atrocity रे ताकू आमे अरेस्ट करि परिबा. So in spite of constitutional scheme and other legislation passed to protect and improve the lot of deprived groups of society, they still remain vulnerable. Denial of rights subjecting them to indigence, humiliation, committing of offense against their persons and property are common indicators of their vulnerability in society. So object of this Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention and Atrocity Act, the object like the broad objective of the act is to protect scheduled caste and scheduled tribes from being victimized. समाज रे ताल ताकू प्रोटेक्शन दिया जिवो and where atrocities are committed to provide adequate relief and assistance to rehabilitation them. The act came into force during 1990 ए एक्ट रे परिणत हेला तो समस्त समान सब सुरक्षा रे बा समान अधिकार. हां ध्वनिता.
So what was the objective of Atrocities Act?
Atrocities Act objective like that the broad objective of the act is to protect scheduled castes, protection दिया जिवो and scheduled tribe be victimized where atrocities are committed to provide adequate relief दिया जिवो सेमानकु. Next and assistant to rehabilitation them सेमानकु मध्ये थैथान करा जिवो एवं सेमानकु अन्यान्य रिहैबिलिटेशन स्कीम रे तांकु विभिन्न प्रकार रिलीफ दिया जिवो. Relief and rehabilitation are the main object. And atrocity रे हाउ कोन करा जिवो विभिन्न प्रकार पनिशमेंट मध्ये अछि. The punishment provide is severe imprisonment of not less than 5 years. 5 वर्ष कारादंड ताकू भोगिबा पई पड़िबो. बुझियला ध्वनिता मेहटा?
Yes sir.
केते वर्ष कारादंड अछि?
5 years.
तापर आउ कोन दिया जिवो रिलीफ दिया जिवो. थर्डली होची रिहैबिलिटेशन स्कीम रे ताको विभिन्न प्रकार सहायता जोगे दिया जिवो. बुझियला?
Yes sir.
So next होची social legislation basing on employment of manual scavengers and construction of dry latrines prohibition act 1993. Scavengers माने बुझि पाछो learners. Hello learners.
Yes sir. Yes sir. Yes sir.
ओडिया रे कोन कहै जाय?
Those who feed on dead animals.
डेड एनिमल्स केवल नुहे रास्ता घाट सफाई करिबा एवं लैट्रिन एउनाल सफाई करिबा जो माने कहै जाय ओडिया रे एग्जैक्ट वर्ड होची मेन तर.
Oh, those people.
Yes. मेन तर रास्ता घाट सफा करिबा नाला नर्दमा सफा करिबा they are belongs to the scavengers.
Okay sir.
सेमानकर मध्ये फंडामेंटल राइट्स अछि. सो सेमानको जदि स्कैवेंजर भाबरे हमें सोसाइटी ग्रहण करिवो so that they are belongs to depressed caste of the underprivileged caste of the society. They are not belongs to the privileged group of the society. So they have government also constitution formulated some act manual scavengers and construction of dry latrines जो मान सब काम करूछंती the dignity सेमानकर मध्ये dignity अछि सेमानकर मध्ये स्वाधीन चेता एवं सम्मान अच्छी आत्मसम्मान अच्छी अच्छी ना नहीं?
Sir, are they different from STs and SCs?
No. These people belongs to the workers group. ST ହେଇ ପାରନ୍ତି, SC ହେଇ ପାରନ୍ତି. Particularly, the majority category of people are belongs to ST, SC of
Okay, sir.
scavengers.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the dignity, listen to me. The dignity of the individual has been enshrined in the preamble to the Constitution of India, while Article 47 states that the states shall endeavor to raise the standards of living of its people and improve public health. Constitution कहूची public health सर्वसाधारण स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा मध्य सरकार गोटे गुरु दायित्व कारण भारत हूँ आम देश हूँ गोटे डेमोक्रेटिक फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट समस्त समान अधिकार बंचार अधिकार अच्छी द कंबाइंड इफेक्ट ऑफ एबव टू प्रिंसिपल इज टू abolish and the dehumanizing practice of manual scavenging of human etc. जो मनीष जो विभिन्न प्रकार त्याग करी थाए लैट्रिन यूरिनल ताकू सब सफा करबा पई जो लोक मान सब थांदी समानकर मध्य डिग्निटी अछि बोली हमर संविधान कहूछि समानकर मध्य समान बंचिबार स्वाधीन चेतार बंचिबार अधिकार अछि to achieve the same this is important enactment was made in the year 1993 to this goal was to construct dry latrines and regulate the maintenance of the water seal latrines बहुत मेहनतर बा स्कैवेंजर्स माने बिलोंग्स टू एसटी एससी कैटेगरी लोक माने कारण आमे समाज ताकू सेमानकू न्यून दृष्टि रे देखुचंती तेणु ये काम पड़ले मैं सेमानकू डाकुचंती ये काम सब करबा पई सो एगुडी के कोन अछि प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफ मैनुअल स्कैवेंजर्स हाथ रे कोनोसी स्कैवेंजर माने ये कर्म करि परिबेनी ह्यूमन एक्सेट्रा मनुष्य त्याग करुथिबा विभिन्न बा मलमूत्र इत्यादि एगुडाक सेमान सफा करिबा सेमानकर दायित्व नुहे बुझि पारलो सो इंप्लीमेंटिंग अथॉरिटीज ऑफ देयर पावर्स तार अथॉरिटी अछंती एगुडाक सब अथॉरिटी अछंती पावर मध्ये सेमानकु दिया जायछि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट बाय ऑर्डर ऑफ द पब्लिश्ड इन द ऑफिशियल गेजेट may appoint a district magistrate or subdivisional magistrate as an executive authority who shall exercise all of any powers and perform all the duties of this work activities. So that is why the scavengers we are inviting and calling to them to involve in this work is one of the social punishment. The duty is imposed on such authority or officer subordinate to him is to try to rehabilitate and promote the welfare of the person who are engaged or employed as a manual scavenger in a particular area. यदि पर्टिकुलर एरिया समान को बारंबार इन्वॉल्व करा जाउथिबो ताल सेति पई जिला स्तर रे जिला मजिस्ट्रेट अछंती सब डिविजन मजिस्ट्रेट अछंती समान को प्रोटेक्शन दबो ताले एगडा के किए काम करिवो दैट इज वन क्वेश्चन ताले लैट्रिन यूरिनल नाल नर्दमा किए सफा करिवो ताले सो दैट इज वन इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट that the government had the power under the act to make one or more scheme to regulate conversion dry latrines into water seal ones, maintenance of water seal latrines, rehabilitations of persons engaged in manual scavenging in gainful employment in a particular area as the case may be. So the government intends to implement with the HUDCO. HUDCO गोटे संस्था अछि जानिछो इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन द ड्यूटी एंड रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द HUDCO सरकार ये अनुष्ठान को दायित्व देइछन्ती काम गुडी को करबा पय सो आमे कोन करछन्ती आमे विभिन्न समय रे आदिवासी हरिजन लोक मानको बा एसटी कैटेगरी मानको निम्न मानर दृष्टि देखि से मानको आनी गिरी लैट्रिन ओपन लैट्रिन ड्राई लैट्रिन एगुडी को सफा नाला नर्दमा सफा करबा पय से मानको इन्वॉल्व करूछन्ती दैट इज नॉट एट वायोलेट्स द फंडामेंटल राइट्स नेक्स्ट होची नेशनल कमिशन ऑन फॉर सफाई कर्मचारी सब जो माने थांती जानिच रास्ता घाट मध्य जो माने सब सफाई काम करतंती सेमाने मध्य निम्न मानरे देखा जाउची हम समाज रे. So it is evident that various steps have been taken by the government for social, economic and educational upliftment of weaker section of the society, including scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and safai karmachari. Safai karmachari particularly the जो मान कहा जाउची manual scavengers. हातरे जो माने सब एही सब अति माने दुसाध्य काम करिथान जो गुडाक ह्यूमन एसेट्रा त्याग करिथांती से गुडाक एमाने सब हातरे manual work काम करिथांती. So the scheme, in addition to the financial assistance, provided for the rehabilitation of the scavengers as well. This practice is a stigma on the social fabric, as it is against human dignity and violates human rights. It was thought necessary to eradicate this practice. यही चिंता समस्तंकर धारिबा दरकार जे समस्ते एगुडिक ए प्रैक्टिस गुडिक हमें दूरे दबा उचित. Hence, in the 8th 5-year plan, funds were kept to provide soft loans to person involved in this practice and create a central monitoring agency to take care of the whole affair. This resulted into creation of the National Commission for Safai Karmachari Act 1993. सफाई कर्मचारी मानन पई गोटे एक्ट मध्य सरकार 1993 रे प्रचलन करिथिले. So commission imperative therefore on its part to recommend a specific program with aim at elimination of inequalities in status, improve facility, create opportunity for safai karmachari within a stipulated time period. semana pai funds finance तांकर माने इनइक्वालिटी दूर करिवा पई सरकार हाथ को बहुत प्रकार काम नैथिले सेमानकर थैथान करिवा पई. The commission has also the power to study, evaluate existing program relating to social economic rehabilitation of सफाई कर्मचारी. सेमान पई बहुत प्रकार रिहैबिलिटेशन स्कीम मध्य कारण समाज सेमान को निच दृष्टि देखुची सेमानकर तांको सेमानकर मध्य सोशल डिग्निटी अछि, सेमानकर मध्य आत्मसम्मान अछि. एगुडिक सब रखिबा पाई सुरक्षा देबा पाई सरकार एगुडिक सब हाथ को विभिन्न प्रकार प्रोग्राम नैथिले. बंडल लेबर कथा जानचे बंडल लेबर एक्ट आगु पढैथिले एक्ट 1986. So bundled labor which this act provides for the abolition of a bundled labor system and matters connected with incidental to such system. While bundled labor system means the system of forced badhya kariba and partly forced labor under which a debtor enters or is presumed to have entered into any agreement. जेतेबेले जने किछि एडवांस जनक ठारू अर्थ आनी थाए बा संबळ आनी थाए जेतेबेले से सुझी न पारे ता पूर्वरु से कोन थाए एग्रीमेंट करि दै थाए गति श्रमिक भाबरे से काम करिवो जहा जोठी एवं तार बिना परमिशन रे से अन्य कोठी से जाई परिबो नाही. जण बंडल लेबर जोटा कि हम समाज पई बहुत क्षतिकारक. तापर आउरी सब सोशल लेजिस्लेशन रो अछि. The aspect like included maintenance the Mental Health Act 1987. Mental Health Act हम समाज रे बहु प्रकार लोक अछंती मेंटली डिसऑर्डर मध्य बहुत अछंती. जो माने मेंटली डिसऑर्डर अछंती समान को तांकर अन्य लोक माने शोषण करि थांती, समान को एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करि थांती. तांकर अगोचर रे तांकर धन संपद सब गुडा को लूट करि थांती जो माने मेंटली डिसऑर्डर थांती. सो मेंटली हेल्थ Act 1987 सरकार मध्य इम्प्लीमेंट करिथिले. ग्रुप ऑफ पर्सन्स हु आर डिसएडवांटेजेस ड्यू टू साइकेट्रिक प्रॉब्लम मानसिक स्तर रे समानकर किछि जदि प्रॉब्लम थाए से माने डिसऑर्डर थांती. एही सुजोग नै करी अनेक लोक रिलेटिव तांकर नियर डियर से मान को शोषण कर नै जाथेन. तनो आर आल्सो इन नीड ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन बोथ ऑफ देयर पर्सन एंड प्रॉपर्टी. In case of protection of persons, the pertinent questions which arise are as to where to get them treated, at whose cost to be treated, liability of maintenance of such persons. एगुडी को सब ताको किए ट्रीटमेंट करिवो ताको किए मेंटेनेंस करिवो तांकर भल मंद कथा किए बुझिबो स्वास्थ्य कथा ये सब मध्य सरकार एक्ट रे सब निर्धारण करिसन मेंटल हेल्थ सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी से मान पई मध्य करा जायछि मेंटल हेल्थ सर्विस इन एडिशन टू साइकियाट्रिक हॉस्पिटल्स and psychiatrist nursing homes includes observation wards, daycare centers, in patient treatment in general facilities and other facilities convenient to home and halfway homes of mentally ill person एमान पई सब विभिन्न प्रकार फैसिलिटी अछि किंतु प्रैक्टिकली ए सब क्षेत्र रे लोक असचेतनता पाई लोक माने सचेतनता नथिबारु जानि नथिबारु इग्नोरेंट थिबारु आमे से अपॉर्चुनिटी अवेल करि पारु नाहु देशर किए को तमे जानि छ ये अपॉर्चुनिटी किए फ्री रे सब पाउचंती जो माने मेंटली डिसऑर्डर अछंती इन जनरल कॉमन समस्त जो मेडिकल को जाउचंती आमे समान को मध्य नै गिरि जाउचंती एवं तांक पई पैसा खर्च करा दउ सरकार तरफ मध्य बहुत फैसिलिटी अछि सो दी हेटिकॉन दी अथॉरिटी shall be in charge of regulation and development, direction and coordination with respect to mental health services and all other matters which is related to it. Those under age of 16 years who have been convicted of any offense, those are mentally disordered, seman pai so bahut prakar facility अछि. Protection of human rights, care of the property, mentally health, मेंटल इल हेल्थ जो मानकर प्रॉपर्टी से मानकर मध्य अछि ना समाज रे स्थावर संपत्ति किछि अछि वेयर मेंटली इल पर्सन possesses property an application for holding an inquisition into the mentally conditions such persons is made by any of his relatives or by a public curator by advocate general to the direct court or district court. On completion of inquisition, the court may record its finding on whether the alleged person is in fact mentally ill or not. And if he is incapable of taking care of himself and managing his property, it shall make order of for the appointment of a guardian to take his care, manager with agreement. सरकार कौन करिवे से क्षेत्र रे एग्रीमेंट करेबे तार गार्डियन रिलेटिव जे मेंटली इली अछि काले ताको एक्सपेक्टेशन कर देबे बा ताको तार अगोचर रे सब संपत्ति को नै जिवे अधिकार कर नै जिवे तेनु करी जण एडवोकेट के माध्यम रे सरकार सेठी एग्रीमेंट करी तार नियर रियर रिलेटिव पाखरे ताको सुरक्षित भाव रे रखिबे सेठी आ के फांकी परिबे नाही सो एई बळी सब होउची हमरा विभिन्न श्रेणी रो लोक मानक पई सोशल लेजिस्लेशन समाज रे सब हमरो व्यवस्था अछि सो नेक्स्ट प्रोसीड करिबा हमें सोशल लेजिस्लेशन आउ कोन अछि नेशनल कमीशन फॉर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस एक्ट 1993 नेशनल कमीशन फॉर बैकवर्ड क्लास एक्ट 1993 सो एठी कोन होछि द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मैंडेट ऑफ रिजर्वेशन ऑफ जॉब in favor of backward classes under Act 16(4) received its impetus on 6th November 1992. Bayanabare eta pass aitla by judgment of the Supreme Court, which directed the government of India to constitute a permanent body within 4 months from the date of judgment and entertaining and examining request made its inclusion and list of backward classes of citizens. Supreme Court एठी ऑर्डर कले जे बैकवर्ड क्लास मानक पई एटा को हमें गोटे एक्ट सरकार प्रणाली करथिले 16(4) रे एक्ट अनुसार सो एथिरे वैशिष्ट्य गुडी थिला the characteristic main features as included constitution of the commission गोटे कमिशन मध्य गठन करा जायतला एवं आर फंक्शंस पावर्स मान मध्य कमिशन को दिया जायतला कमिशन examine request for inclusion of any classes of citizen can also hear complaints of over inclusion and under inclusion of any backward class so Commission consists of members nominated by the central government and includes a chairperson, 3 other members and a member secretary. The chairperson should not be less than a high court, judge of a high court or supreme court judge. एमानकु chairperson बा मुख्य भाबरे ग्रहण कराई थाए एवं अन्य मेंबर थांती जो माने एमान कथा बुझी थांती. So other social legislation या छडा हमर आउ कोन सब legislation अछि. So legislation most probably as included here so note some important point here. Mental health services and authorities. केतोटे point मु डाकी दोति लेख mental health services and authorities. Underline कर सेठी. So mental health services lekha mental health services includes psychiatric hospitals, includes psychiatric hospitals, nursing homes, कमा देखि लिखते बसटी observation wards, day care centers, patient treatment, ambulance facility, are provided for mentally ill persons. Point 2 re note it. Point 2. The state or the central government shall establish an authority with such designation deemed to be fit, full stop. The authority shall be in charge of regulation. Development, direction, and coordination with respect to mental health services with respect to mental health services and all other matters which are related to it. Point 3. Point 3. Government to establish or maintain psychiatric hospitals or nursing homes for the admission, treatment and care of mentally ill persons at places as it thinks fit. Separate hospitals may be established and maintained for the following categories. So point I re, those under the age of 16 years, जो माने मेंटली इल पर्सन्स पिला माने अछंती 16 वर्ष बिलो अछंती. Point 2 I re, those who are addicted to alcohol or other drugs which lead to behavioral changes in a person, ये गोटे इंपोर्टेंट पॉइंट गला. नेक्स्ट गोटे पॉइंट लेख अंडरलाइन करिवो, केयर ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ मेंटली इल. अंडरलाइन करो. वॉइस क्लियर होची धनिता? हेलो.
Yes, sir.
लेख, where a mentally ill person possesses property, short question ପାଇଁ ଏଟା important. An application for holding an inquisition into the mental condition of such person is made by any of his relatives is made by any of his relatives or by a public curator or by a public curator by Advocate General to the district courts by Advocate General to the district courts full stop on completion of inquisition the court may record its finding on whether the alleged person is in fact mentally ill or not and if ill is incapable of taking care of himself and of managing his property full stop. It shall make order for the appointment of a guardian to take his care as property possessed by the mentally ill person. So these are the important legislation, social legislation on scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and mentally ill health person, bonded labor, and other categories, National Commission of Safai Karmachari, etc. included in your syllabus, social legislation on scheduled caste and scheduled tribe peoples. Apart from there are other here. Protection of human rights of mentally ill persons. Protection of human rights of mentally ill persons. every mentally ill person during his treatment should not be subjected to any indignity, physical or mental, or to any cruelty, कारण मेंटल डिसऑर्डर लोक माने प्रायतः गुड बिहेव करि नथंती ड्यूरिंग ट्रीटमेंट तेणु सेमानको क्रुएलिटी हिसाब रे मेंटेन करबा बा तांको देखिबा उचित नुहे आज नॉर्मल पीपल हिसाब रे तांको अफेक्शन सहित तांको ट्रीटमेंट करबा उचित सो
Excuse me, sir. So, though we have all these facilities for mentally unstable people, then why are so many mental people are roaming on the roads, and why are not they being taken care of by the government?
yes, that is one question, big question. There are large numbers of people
So,
on the
do we have any mental hospital of government in Odisha state?
the government hospital, particularly as per the Constitution Act, mentally disorder
So, this is
people,
responsibility of the state government. So, do we have any mental hospital by the government in state?
like as per the 1987 Act अनुसारे, for
Yes,
example,
sir.
government जो तीनिटा बड़ बड़ आमर हॉस्पिटल अच्छी एसी मेडिकल कॉलेज एवं बुर्ला मेडिकल कॉलेज, बरहमपुर मेडिकल कॉलेज, they are allowed to for the treatment. So it is particularly held by the social organization. There should be firstly सरकार एठी कोन ताकर नियम होची, सरकार कोनोसी सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो बा ऑथराइज्ड बॉडी हो सेमानको दायित्व दबा कथा.
Okay.
But due to lack of awareness, सचेतनता केवल होची कारण हमर सचेतनता अभाव, भारतीय लोक मानकर संविधान उपरे सचेतनतार अभाव. लोक जदि सचेतन हेबे ताले देश काई केमिति हबो. सबु लोक मानक पाई मेंटली डिसऑर्डर, स्कैवेंजर, शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब, बैकवर्ड क्लास आमे जेते कथा डिस्कशन करले all having privilege from the constitution.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So जो माने देखो रास्ता घाट रे बिचरा बुल विचरण करूचंती सेमानको मध्य सेमानक पई फैसिलिटी अछि सरकार ग्रामे जा हमर विषय वस्तु आमे अध्ययन करूचंती आमे पाठ पढुचंती जेते सोसाइटी रे डिप्रेस्ड बा अंडर प्रिविलेज ग्रुप अछंती, एसटी होंतु, एससी होंतु, बैकवर्ड क्लास होंतु, मेंटली डिसऑर्डर होंतु बा अन्य को कैटेगरी रो बा ड्रग्स एडिक्टेड पर्सन होंतु जेते कैटेगरी देखले समस्त पई सरकार कर फैसिलिटी अछि. So they can be allowed to for the treatment.
So the government only makes the facilities and they show us that they are making the facilities, but the facilities are not being implemented.
Practiced.
Not at all implemented. They are
Not
betraying the government. They are betraying the public.
But it is not practically held possible. Jodi लोक मानकर due to only lack of awareness.
No,
Jodi
sir,
लोक
not
माने
due to the awareness. Sir, it is due to the corruption, corrupted officers.
corruption officer तो the first आमे beginning रो very beginning रो ए विषय आलोचना करितले. So सेमान को हेड रे सेमान को हेड रे सुना ए मान को हेड रे सरकार मध्ये फंड सैंक्शन करचंती, बजेट सैंक्शन करचंती.
Yes, sir.
करचन ना नाही.
Yes, sir.
So due to corruption एई बजेट बा अर्थ गुडी को हड़प होई जाउची. सो ए माने डाउनलोड नै कि रहउचंती समाज रे. ए माने सेही बळी रास्ता घाट रे विचरण करूचंती. बुझि पल्लो ना नाही.
But do you think the situation will change?
Hello, ha.
So do you think the situation will change?
Never change. The situation in future also never change unless otherwise if the people will not change. If when people will change their mental attitude,
Sir, a ray of hope. Sir, a ray of hope comes thinking that the future generation ministers will be well educated, perhaps from now this
nobody
present
can say.
generation.
Never. Nobody can say that future leader will be so fine or literate people will
Well educated.
lead the country, etc. It is impossible. So it depends on like the advanced country, USA, Britain, German, Japan, ये सब country मानकर कौन वास्तवता सेठी वास्तवता सेठी एते प्रचार अपप्रचार चले ना इलेक्शन समय रे जी मु हमको करीबी जर्मन गोटा देश there is no the discussion or public rallies etc held by the politicians.
That is due to they all are united, and here in our country is a secular country. Here all the caste, all the religion people are living together. So the political parties, they make conflict between those religions and castes, and this is how the thing occurs.
They are making the groupism.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
To earn sufficient votes, how to win in the race. मुंपा मुळुरु कहली that is the qualities of our leader. First we हमें leadership ऊपर गोटा कि discussion करितेले मन पड़छि ना नाही.
Yes sir.
So leader को भली हवा दरकार. महात्मा गांधी, नेताजी बोस, पंडित नेहरू, आम ओडिसा रो गोपबंधु दास एई मानक भली डेडिकेशन सैक्रिफाइस जदि थिबो ताल से देश रामराज्य रे परिणत होई परिबा.
Everything happens due to the caste. Excuse me, sir. So everything happens due to the caste and religion. So do you think there should be no caste, no religion certificate issued by our Indian government for each and every people in India?
It is impossible will be held in future because there is the percentage of votes as they are incurring from different groups. Bujhela. So they are collecting a huge votes from different groups of people because they are making the casteism. The other backward class boli kono kichi thila ki?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is from the Rig Veda time. So this is from the Rig Veda time, the castes.
OBC boli gote caste kichi nathila, aguru nathila. It is divided.
Sir, but the caste system is from the Rig Veda time.
Hello.
The caste system is from the ancient time.
Ancient time it was not prevailed as the other backward class because they are making the groups to collect the votes. Only the target is how to collect the votes. If people will become aware so that they can clearly understand the viewpoint of the politicians, they can reject the nonsense politicians. They can cast the exact leader or politicians, those who will rule over the country. Okay. So time is over. I remain here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
In my teaching today.